Greetings to everyone. I extend a warm welcome to everyone present here. I find immense pleasure in introducing our honorable speaker, Mr. Jitin Chawla. We are really thankful to him for taking his time out to enlighten everyone present here with his knowledge and wisdom. Mr. Jitin Chawla is an MBA graduate from one of the topmost business institutes of India, Faculty of Management Studies, University of Delhi. He is the founder and director of North India's topmost career counseling and study of abroad firm, Center for Career Development, which is located in Delhi. For 5 years, he has worked with multinational companies like ICI and North India's largest media group like Hindustan Times, till he discovered his knack for entrepreneurship with the aim of providing simple but detailed and scientific career counseling. Center for Career Development started on its own journey of transforming the lives of talented students by guiding them on the correct career path. Mr. Chawla's love for reading, unbeatable passion for public speaking, zeal for creativity, clubbed with a charismatic personality, has made him extremely popular and influential among students. As a result, within just a span of 16 years, Mr. Chawla and his dedicated team have already conducted more than 18,500 workshops and 260 career fairs in schools and colleges. On the socially responsible side, he has worked with NGOs like Smile Foundation, Can Kids, Palna, SOS Children's Village of India, as well as associations like Maheshwari Samaj, YNCA, Delhi Malayali Association. Additionally, career meets have been organized with Rotary clubs and few government departments like SCERT. He is also a member of National Career Development Association, United States of America, and actively participates in international conferences in various countries. Moreover, he's also an editorial advisor for Times, I would now like to introduce Dr. Maturi, who's the Vice Chancellor at Mahindra University. He's an acclaimed academician and a seasoned professional with more than 3 decades of opulent academic and administrative experience. Before joining Mahindra University, Dr. Maturi was the Vice Chancellor of Bennett University at Greater Noida, UP. While in Bennett University, Dr. Meduri developed academic partnerships with Georgia Tech for engineering, Johnson Business, Cornell University for management, Cornell Law School, Babson College USA for entrepreneurship, and others. Dr. Meduri has a BTech honors degree from IIT Kharagpur and did his MS and PhD in engineering mechanics from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, USA. I would now like to introduce Mr. Sandeep Saraswal, who represents College Board in South and Central Asia as an outreach manager. He managed tie-ups with universities in India and support K-12 school educators to use College Board programs successfully in guiding students to undergraduate programs globally. He also manages the Advanced Placement Program in India. Prior to College Board, he worked as founding admissions and outreach team member at Ashoka University and also supported the university to evangelize liberal arts education in India. He started his career at ENY in brand and marketing and holds an MBA in marketing, finance, and sustainable development from TERI University, Delhi. He also has a certification in career counseling from UCLA. He is a passionate international educator and has guided school leaders and students from leading schools across the country to help them navigate through best career and college choices.
Great. So welcome everyone. Dr. Maduri, it's a pleasure to be here with you. And Sandeep, welcome. We did had a chat yesterday. So I hope you're doing great. So I think the idea students who have joined us, I can see a lot of students who keep on coming also. Swati Mishra. It is not Swati Mishra actually. I know Vanshika, Adi. Welcome to the show. Hi Tanmay, Mridul. I can see a couple of you have said hi, and good evening to all of you. So I'll just quickly introduce and give small comments, and then I would say let College Board do most of the talking today. And at the end, I mean, towards this thing, we'll speak with Dr. Meduri on how universities are looking at SAT, and uh, how they are using SAT to internationalize the entire experience, right from application onwards, and what is happening at Mahindra University in that context. So that's how we'll go. Sartha, if you can put up the PPT, I can just start. So, good evening, people who have just joined us right now. Good evening, Jyoti Batra, Popsicle Pika. That's a unique name. Hi, Isha. Welcome to the show. Dhruv, hello. Okay, so SAT, somehow people feel that SAT is only for US, and sometimes people have been saying that अब तो SAT भी नहीं चाहिए. It's not true. So SAT is applicable across the world. I'll just quickly show it to you also, and of course, Sandeep would also highlight it that which all universities are accepting. So 36 universities in India. Also, I mean, you have your SAT score, so you get an unconditional offer before your school results. So, me and my team successfully we help a couple of hundreds of students go to various countries, and we definitely, in fact, I had a student from eighth class today, and in the plan we wrote a 10th class go for PSAT, 11th go for SAT. So, a SAT prep, PSAT, SAT timings, everything is important for us to understand. So I normally share with people that give your SAT and be free in 11th class itself. Yeah, maybe maybe your grades are falling, but you get a good SAT score, so that balances it. Yeah. Uh, People feel that is it sometimes on university's website you'll say it is optional for applying, like in Singapore. Yeah, but when admissions are happening, they do look at it. If you have a good SAT score, why not? Yeah. So across the world, like some universities in, if I talk of Hong Kong, so they definitely want SAT, but some places it is written conditional. So not so much for admissions. Please understand. Yashita Narang is asking, what is considered to be a good SAT score? Uh, yeah, so we'll take SAT questions. Sandeep would be doing it, but generally, like I would say 1450 to 1500 is a decent SAT score. Though people get 1520, I got a student this year who got 1570 also. But like 1450 to 1520, I would say is quite a good SAT score. Though a lot of admits happen in 1350 also. Good public universities, good scholarships also happen, but generally that is how it is. Yeah, Bhuvan, we'll just take questions. I'll just show you a small PPT, and once Sandeep has also spoken, you'll get a lot of clarity. Okay, so scholarships again, it is pretty important. Yeah, see, SAT is a way of showing internationally that look, you are a good student, you have done well. It's an international test, and you have got it. So the university is looking at that and is giving you admission, looking at scholarship. Though other things also are important. So if I look at US, then profile is also important. A lot of people ask me about profile. So profile building would, it can be anything. You might be an international level player, you might be a national level player, you might have won some prizes in some competition, you have established a school club, you have done some research and got it published, you have done wonderful internships, you have done some online programs. Yeah, so all those things also will matter, but SAT is something they can see. It's a number which they can see, oh, is it good, it's not good, and so on. Yeah, and it's not only US but even other countries universities value SAT, so you can add it on and it's valued. Yes, Suman, humanities student can also go for SAT. I am Rachi. Adi Sharma has just started. So this year I am Rachi. I'm happy, Adi, that you have seen. I hope you have seen my YouTube video on I am Rachi. So they are accepting SAT. What score? My lips are sealed, but I don't know. I would imagine it to be maybe 1520 to 1540 because number of seats is limited and a lot of people will apply for it. So that's what I would imagine. Next. So I'm just quickly showing you universities, and then so I'm Ranchi was on my first this thing. Good, Adi, that you asked about it. Next. So IMRACHI has just launched a 5-year program and SAT is being used. So global acceptance of SAT, let's quickly understand. Australia, 24 universities, good universities, they accept SAT. Next. Though without SAT also you get in, but SAT makes it easier for you. Canada, a lot of universities taken SAT. Next. Waterloo is, by the way, one of the topmost universities in the world for co-op programs where you can work side by side. Finland, for CBSE students, SAT is compulsory. If you're an IB student, then you can go without also. But still, people like me, we still advise people to give SAT. It's a value add. It's something which is adding value to your CV. Yeah, check out Alto, HAMK, and so on. So these are good universities. Finland has pretty good universities, public universities, and job availability is also good. Next, France. Yeah. So Parsons has Paris Fashion Design, SCAP. So these universities again accept SAT. Next, Germany. In fact, I have traveled to Frankfurt School of Finance and Management. They have bachelors as well as masters. One of the top schools. It's a private school in Germany. In fact, I have students also studying there. So they want SAT after 12th if they're applying. Yeah, I mean they have their own thing also, but they want SAT also. So WHU is there, Bard College Berlin, Jacobs, Lancaster. So they consider SAT. Next, so applicable all across. UK again. See, again it depends which courses where you're applying. But if you have taken SAT, you can put it in additional information, or sometimes the university is asking for it. So UK also acceptability of SAT is there. Next. Again, I'm saying, see, some places you can go and take up SAT. Without SAT also you can take admission, but with SAT the admission thing is eased for you. And second thing is, with SAT you can get better scholarships. Yeah, but let's hear more from this, from Sandeep. Sandeep, if you can Sandeep is from College Board. College Board conducts SAT. Yeah. So Sandeep, if you can highlight like what has been happening, and uh, what is happening like post COVID, any changes which are happening.
Sure,
If you
Jit.
yeah, if you can
I
take
hope you can all hear me clearly, and thank you so much for having me on this session, on this show, Jitin and I, Dr. Raj. Very excited to be here. I will be sort of taking a step back and explaining what SAT is for students who may not be as familiar. I'll also introduce you to PSAT and share some updates, what's happening with SAT in general, some very key updates. I think one of the big updates Jitin has already shared, which is IIM Ranchi has started accepting SAT for their 5-year program, which is a BBA plus MBA 5-year program. So very exciting news there. But let's take a step back. I'm just going to put this in full screen mode so that you can see it. So who we are, College Board, we are the owners of SAT Exam. We are a non-profit which was set up 120 years old organization, set up with one clear mission, which is to connect students uh, to college success, which is when you are in high schools and when you wish to go to universities around the world. College Board really lays out that path for students through SAT, PSAT, and advanced placement program. Um, how does our offering or SAT suite of assessment look like? You see these three circles on your screen. What this really means is on the very right side, what you see as SAT. So SAT is nothing but a standardized test. It's a standardized test of your skills that matter to a university, right? So we are talking about skills like reading, writing, problem solving, critical thinking, comprehension skills. So university internationally, they want to see that students have these skills. They believe that they can teach you course content if you have these skills in the right amount, in the right way, right? And you can imagine when students are applying to these universities from different countries, say for a particular top university in the US, you would have students applying with different boards from India, from China, from Middle East. So in that case, a standardized score is a tool which gives university a very good indication that academically how well you can do, right? So SAT is nothing, or any standardized test is nothing but an opportunity for you to showcase to the university that academically you are ready to join their program, and you will probably do well in in their program, right? So standardized test is that opportunity, right? And you take the SAT in grade 11 or grade 12, like Jitin mentioned already. Grade 11 is when we actually recommend students to start taking the SAT, because sometimes it happens that you may need multiple attempts. You want to focus on your school curriculum exams in grade 12. So if you start early, you can have multiple attempts. You can also get a standardized score out of the way. And always remember that while admissions are holistic, international, and also in universities in India now, a lot of Indian good universities have started looking at students more holistically. But academic performance, academic rigor, academic capability will always remain one top factor that all universities always look at in a student, right? So even if you have a diverse profile, still you need to showcase to the university in some way that academically you are ready. So SAT is really that opportunity for you to showcase to the university. And since it's a global test, universities can really interpret what your score on SAT means, right? It's a 1600-point test. So globally, we understand what a 1400 or a 1500 means, right? So it doesn't matter which curriculum you studied under, it's the way to standardize that process, right? Now, tracing back to what you see on the left, PSAT 8, 9, PSAT 10, what that is. So PSAT is nothing but a prelim version of the SAT. We want students to start young, start preparing really young, because to build on these skills that are tested on the SAT takes some time, right? You can also start in grade 11, but ideally, students internationally, what they do, they start with PSAT grade 8 or 9, right? You can start in grade 8 or grade 9, take a PSAT. So PSAT is a diagnostic test. At that point, you're not reporting your scores to the university. A lot of students have this question: is it competitive? Are universities going to look at my scores through PSAT? So the answer is no. Through PSAT, you're not reporting your scores, you're only practicing what you will encounter on the SAT, right? So you do that in grade 8, 9, and then you also do that in grade 10. Let me actually show you a slide here what the SAT is. So again, it's a diagnostic tool which helps you to learn more about these skills. You get a very detailed report on your performance, where you did well, what are the areas you still need to improve on. Say if there are 5 or 10 students who are taking PSAT from your school, then your school also gets a very detailed report saying, comparing it with how do schools perform internationally, where do your schools stand, and your school can also then take certain decisions based on these reports, that which direction the school is headed in academically, what changes they need to bring on, what are the areas students are doing well in, right? So this is the journey which we recommend students 8, 9 take a PSAT, or take a PSAT in grade 10, and then in grade 11 start taking the SAT. Now there is one more test which is called as NMSQT, which is nothing but same as PSAT 10, but it's only for students who may be US citizens living anywhere in the world. It connects you to certain scholarships through national merit. Uh, there's a system of scholarship, but again, it's a similar test. It happens in the month of October. If there are any students who may be US citizens, they can also look at NMSQT instead of PSAT 10. Otherwise, the test is very similar. This is the kind of reports you would get, and your score and your performance is comparable to how you're likely to perform on the actual SAT in future, right? This is all grade appropriated, so it's not comparable to the actual SAT, but the skill level of grade 8, 9, or 10 student needs to have, that is assessed and reported through the PSAT. Right. So as you understand, I'm going to skip through some of these slides because they talk in detail about PSAT, which is not our focus today so much, but the SAT. Again, just to reiterate, this is a system that we've created to help students to also learn how to how to really gain some of these skills which matter to a university later on: reading, writing, maths, problem solving skills, right? Now, SAT, as you would understand, it's a little different from the kind of tests we have in India, the kind of entrance test uh, we are used to looking at, where you only have one attempt um, uh, in the whole year. SAT you can take multiple times in a one particular academic year. In India, we conduct the test 5 times in the year, starting from the month of March. Then it happens in May, August, October, December. Because of COVID, last year, as we all know, things were really uncertain. In some cities, test centers which are placed inside, which are in certain schools, they could not get permission from the local government, and for all the right reasons, keeping health and safety concerns in mind. Test centers were not open, so there were some disruptions to the test generally, globally, and also with the SAT. But now, since test centers have started to open, things are hopefully getting back to as they were, if not fully yet. So test centers have started opening, and students are able to take the test at these test centers in the school, right? Now, what my advice or personal advice to all the students is that you need to have a very clear roadmap when you are thinking about international admissions or a standardized test in general, right? Now, what do I mean by a roadmap? Is that you need to clearly chart out a timeline when you're likely to apply to universities, right? Based on which grade you are in. Currently, when do you plan to start applying to these universities? Where are these universities located? Which countries? When do admissions start in these countries? And really, from that uh, timeline, create this map. When would you need to take your standardized test? How many attempts it might take you to get to that score that you might be aiming? I will talk about scores a little bit more, but uh, plan this out. How much time it will need you for preparation? What are the resources you will be using? Whether you need to take it in March, whether you have in your school exams in May, do you want to skip May, maybe take the exam in August? When are you going to receive the results? When will you submit to the university? Do you want to start in grade 11? Do you want to plan this in grade 12? These are some of the questions you should definitely ask yourself. Right now, it doesn't matter which grade you are in, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, wherever, whichever grade you may be in. Start creating these roadmaps very clearly marked uh, when you will be taking um, uh, a standardized test or start applications in general. This is what you will encounter on the test. The big update here is there was a separate essay section on the test, which is getting discontinued globally. So now you will have the standard two sections, which is evidence-based reading and writing, which is a 200 to 800 point section, and another section on maths, which is also 200 to 800 points. It's a 3-hour test, 1600 point. Additional to that, there was this optional essay, which certain universities required in the past, and only if those universities required it, then students had to take it. Otherwise, it was always optional, but it's going away altogether after June 2021 admin. Universities have been informed about this, so you're not going to be at any disadvantage. All these decisions are obviously taken in consultation with international universities. So the big update is that essay is going away. So even when you're registering for the SAT, earlier you had to pay a certain extra amount to appear for the essay. You had to take that decision while registering whether you wish to enroll for the essay or not. So that all won't be required as of now. What each section has, I'm going to not uh, uh, spend a lot of time there because uh, this is sort of a short session. But if you want to, I will leave you with a resource where you can read more about what each section has. But just to reiterate how SAT has been planned, In all of these sections, you are not required to have any prior subject or content knowledge, right? So it doesn't matter if you have maths in grade 11 or 12 or not. The kind of topics you will encounter on the SAT, uh, the kind of maths you need, you have covered those topics by grade 10th, right? So it's not about knowing those concepts, but really the application of those concepts. There'll be a lot of data analysis. How do you interpret certain information? You may not have read about it. Uh, uh, that is the kind of work you are required to do on the SAT. So it's more analysis, more interpretation, problem solving. Math questions are going to be more in form of puzzles rather than spending hours with very complex formulas to solve that. No, there's no penalty for guessing. You can take guesses. Uh, yeah. So again, no prior subject knowledge needed here. So it doesn't matter what subjects you're going to choose here in grade 11 or 12. So another big update for all the students is that SAT subject test is also going away. So if you're not familiar with what subject test is, so certain universities, certain programs had required these subject tests. These were hour-long tests, which tested your fundamental knowledge in certain disciplines, whether it's mathematics, chemistry, or physics. So maybe say a engineering program in the US or say at MIT or some of these top engineering programs, there certain subject tests were required, right? So that is also going away, which means it is getting discontinued. You will no longer have to take subject tests. Universities again have updated their policies. They are aware of these changes. Uh, Now, advanced placement has sort of taken over from that role, which is if you wish to demonstrate your proficiency in particular subject or discipline, then you can still take advanced placement programs, advanced placement tests. They are available in India instead of taking subject tests. Again, it's not mandatory, but these all add value to your academic profile in case you wish to add this to your uh, overall profile. Now, in terms of registering, as of now, in this is the calendar. Just take a note of the last dates to register for uh, um, you only have dates option available for the May test right now. So April 8th is the deadline. Subject test, although is listed here because it's going away after June. So June is the last uh, admin it will be offered. So just keep these dates in mind. The calendar looks almost similar every year. So even if you plan to take the test next year, just keep in mind what are the deadlines. Is typically, just to give you an idea, it's exactly a month before uh, uh, the exam date. So if the exam is on May 8th, it will be April 8th. So you can also just keep that in mind, that exactly 1 month before the deadline closes, right? You can register using your passport or Aadhaar card. Both are valid proof. The cost of test is about $100. How do you register? Again, you go on College Board's website, which is collegeboard.org/SAT. You can go on our website here. Registration process is very intuitive. Not going to spend a lot of time here. Um, Very intuitive. You'll be asked for certain documents, your ID proof. Um, uh, you can also opt in during this process for a service which is called a student search service, which helps you to connect with certain colleges around the world in case you are interested. Again, it's a free service, but just to something to keep in mind. If you when you're registering for the SAT, you will be asked whether you want to opt in for that service. My recommendation is students are able to discover new universities and colleges through that service. So, in case you are interested, definitely uh, opt in for that. Now, for practicing for the test and how do you prepare, this is a question that a lot of students always have on their mind. So the best resource that we can offer to you is this portal that we've created in collaboration with Khan Academy. I'm sure a lot of you must have heard of uh, Sal Khan or Khan Academy and his very inspiring story how he started Khan Academy. So we've created this free portal, entirely free, accessible to all students. You can practice full-length tests here. There are 8 official tests. You can learn, like I said earlier, if you wish to learn what are the topics covered in reading and writing section, what are the topics covered in math section, they're all listed here. You get a lot of interactive videos where you can build on these concepts and how to really solve real SAT questions. Over and above this, if you still feel, although this should be sufficient for you, you can then access any other resources. There are so many available out there. But this is something we definitely recommend. And my advice to all the students is that even if you may know the concept really well, unless you've practiced enough real SAT questions, you won't get that kind of confidence, right? Because a skill-based test is very different from a knowledge-based test, right? So unless you've practiced these questions, applied those skills, developed on those skills on the real test, and you also have to keep in mind this is also a test of not to scare you, but how efficiently you are able to manage your time. So it's also a test of time management, right? So which can only happen if you are really timing how quickly you are able to solve these questions, if you are able to finish the test in the time, and that can only happen if you are practicing full length tests like you would in a real setting. So definitely make use of this portal, if nothing else. Okay, just to quickly summarize what I think some of this already Jitin showed it to you. These countries where SAT is accepted. Uh, the good news here is that Indian universities have also started accepting the test. In fact, now there are 42 universities, not 35, but 42 universities who started accepting the SAT, and every month we are adding more universities to that list. Uh, of course, globally, this list I think you've already seen in Jitin's slide. But just to reiterate, it's accepted globally. There are 6,000 universities which accept SAT either for admissions or for scholarship, right? So I would emphasize on the word either for admissions or scholarships or a combination, right? Because there are universities, say in Australia, where SAT may not be required as mandatory. But I know students who've gone to these universities on fantastic scholarships if they had good scores, right? So also keep some of these things in mind because again, it's a way for you to showcase your academic strength to a university that uh, you can still apply, look at from a scholarship perspective, right? Now let's look at the India story, and uh, this is not the complete list, but a screenshot of Indian universities who have started accepting SAT for admissions. Like I said, there are 42 now. Again, these universities offer a whole range of programs, whether it's engineering, liberal arts and sciences, uh, BBA, management programs, pure sciences. So just with one SAT score, you can apply to different universities and different programs. Uh, Now, what this helps you with as a student is in two ways. The first is that you can skip the test that university may have because universities also have their own entrance tests or they require you to take an Indian, say, a national level entrance test. So you can skip all of that and just apply with SAT scores. The second opportunity here is that we've started a scholarship program, which is called as the India Scholars Program, which is for students who are residents of India, wish to study at these universities in India. We offer them 100% college tuition fee scholarship opportunity. Let me actually walk you through what that program has and how are we supporting students through that currently. Now, there are two ways how we are supporting students in India, especially students who may not have the means, may not have the income, who may come from, say, very humble backgrounds, very smart students. So there are two ways we are supporting. One is we offer discounts on the SAT fee. Uh, there are vouchers we provide to students, and then, of course, the scholarship program. So for getting these vouchers, the criteria is your family's annual household income. If it's up to 8 lakhs annually, then you can avail a 90% discount voucher on the test fee, and you can take the test in about 700 or 750 rupees. You can get these vouchers through our partner, which is Buddy for Study. You can go to this website, avail these vouchers. They will ask you for some information on uh, family's household income and stuff like that, just small verification, and then give you these vouchers. Now, if you wish to take that one step ahead, and if you wish to study at these Indian universities on a full scholarship, then there are three criterias that all students need to qualify for. The first one is purely based on family's household income, which is if it's up to INR, Indian rupees, 8 lakhs. If you score a 1300 on the test out of 1600, uh, if you apply to these Indian universities and you get admission offer, then you get a 100% college tuition fee scholarship, right? So again, a very exciting opportunity for students who may be um, wanting to study at these universities but may not have all the means, right? So again, this is very exciting for us because we kick-started this work only 2 years back. It's a new scholarship program, and this is our first cohort of 16 students who we gave 100% scholarship to in 2020, and the universities that you see listed there. And these are some of really progressive upcoming universities in India where these students have gone, and they'll be pursuing their 3 or 4 years of their undergraduate programs. Again, if you are also one of the students who may need certain financial support, then SAT can help you with that as well, right? So I'm going to stop here, Jitin. Quickly move back to you, hand it over to you, and I think whatever has not got covered, although I try to cover a lot, I'll take it through the questions.
So pretty amazing. I have people saying great insights, very helpful, and so on. So thanks a lot, Sandeep. And we'll take more questions also. Dr. Maduri, if you are here, we can quickly take on a few questions related to admissions, and because one we got questions related to Mahindra University itself. One question was that first of all, I mean, if you can also highlight that why SAT as a university you have been taking SAT. So why SAT, and also a context. Is it for all the courses? Does SAT help in getting scholarships also? So I think students are looking forward to all these questions.
Hi, Jitin. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Loud and
Thank
clear.
you. Thank you, Jitin. Lovely to be back on the show with you. And thank you, Sandeep, for a very comprehensive look at SAT and what all takes place under SAT. Um, I'm actually been working with using SAT scores in my previous employment at Bennett University and now into Mahindra University. And Mahindra University, before it became a university, it was Mahindra equals Central. And we were using SAT 1 and SAT subject scores for the admission based process. Because after all, I think as an educational administrator, if you look at it from the external side, in engineering, when you use a national level entrance exam like the JEE mains or the JEE advanced to pick up students, you have a lot of students who are in IB related schools in India, and the numbers of IB related schools are increasing exponentially. And some of these are very, very good schools. If I look at it from the perspective of Hyderabad city, there's so many excellent IB schools where students are sort of mentored to look at the SAT approach rather than get into any comprehensive national level examination for an admission process. And I think the SAT scores, be it regular SAT, where you're looking at verbal and mathematics, and I think Jitin has laid it out, anything in the range of 1500 plus turns out to be a good score. Or we were using the SAT subject score so long, the physics, chemistry, mathematics, and wherein we were telling students that anything above 21 to 2200 would qualify as a good score. Of course, SAT subject is going to be stopped from June, but that would take care of this admission cycle. For next admission cycle, I guess we have to go back to using the SAT verbal math scores only, and add on maybe an interview process where one checks out the physics, chemistry, mathematics standing of a student. Okay, so far we were engineering and we were using SAT 1 and SAT 2, which is a subject. But now, since we are adding on the BBA, the BA Finance Economics, and even the integrated B.Ed program, we're going to be looking at students who have SAT scores to join into our programs. Last week I did a series of interactions with students who had SAT regular and SAT subject scores, and we have issued the admission offers. And I think that's what I sort of agree with what Sandeep says. If you have a good SAT score, why don't you confirm your admission into a good university, and then you can think about the what next. A bird in hand, I think, works out always better than trying to beat around the bush. That's why. Questions are coming in. What are the SAT requirements for Mahindra University? Yes, if you look at SAT 1, I think anybody with the 1400 plus we're willing to look at, because after all, we're going to be interacting with that particular student. And a particular student who has good communication skills, a command over the language, is able to express himself or herself in a very positive way, would strike a distinct chord. Okay, subject scores, physics, chemistry, mathematics, 2100 plus would qualify you to look at a seat in the either the computer science or the artificial engineering disciplines, or the new disciplines which we're adding on this year, which is nanotechnology or mechatronics or computational biology, because the whole world is now revolving around computing. So everything has to be computing related to move forward. Okay, but succinctly, and I think just to put it in a very brief format, I think anybody with an average SAT score can look at in the Indian context of reaching out to all these universities which Sandeep was showing. You would have seen that a majority of them, I think 99% of them, are private-based university campuses. And a private-based university campus, I think, is willing to look at a student's potential through a remediized test score and see what can happen. Yes, Yashita, there are scholarships for good students in Mahindra. We have a range of scholarships, and we're going to add on some more for admission session 2021. That's why. She's getting right to the point. 1550. Give me 100% scholarships.
Yeah.
I'll leave that to the admissions team. After all, they're supposed to look into that and get back to me.
So, Dr. Madhuri, one student had come for counseling in the morning, and he asked me specifically to check with you. I had told him that we'll be doing this webinar. So, if somebody is a sports person and he has been participating in these CBSE regionals and just going on to nationals, maybe he'll crack one or two. So, is there any special this thing for him? Like, is that given a weightage in terms of admissions?
We have last year also we put aside a couple of C's for sports related students, those who are getting into CBSE nationals, etc. And I think this year we will continue with that process. We don't mind looking at students who are exceptional in certain sports activities. Absolutely.
I'll just take one or two questions quickly. Blocker boy, that's a good name. I don't have any extracurricular activities to list in the profile. Will my chances of admission in America reduce? Not exactly, blocker boy. I'm sure there would be something. Maybe you have good ACADS. So good ACADS plus good SAT. So also it depends on the kind of universities you're looking at. So each university, is different, and it's like when you start hunting, like you are a boy, so when you start seeing girls, so something will match, yeah. So something like that. So it's not that you, of course, maybe in some universities you might not be considered so much, but maybe you're exceptional on academic side, maybe you have exceptional SAT score. I had a student who secured full on full. So though it's a rarity, but then there are people who secure full on full, and then immediately you're accepted. Yeah. So depends. Palak is asking, sir, it is for you, Dr. Madhuri. Is there any other exam apart from SAT for Mahindra?
Oh, it depends upon which subject you're looking at. If you're looking at engineering, we're looking at the JE mains, that's all. Okay. You should have
Okay,
qualified. You take the JE mains and qualify with JE advanced, then we are willing to look at you. Basis the particular score you obtain, then you will be given the choice of your discipline. Mahindra University is Hyderabad. Yes, absolutely. We are in Hyderabad only. That's why we've been located for the last 6 years.
Yukta is asking, what are the important things for profile? If somebody is applying to the university, that what is it that is important for profile?
Profile meaning, see, when you're into a professional program like engineering, one has to be a little careful, because the more you expand the range of how the admission process is, and the regulator UGC, when they visit, they will cut it down, because after all, you're opening various avenues for entry into the system, which the regulator says no, it should not be for professional courses. If you're looking at DBA, BA, the media courses, the integrated B.Ed, etc., there you can interact with the student and see whether the particular profile of the student fits us or doesn't fit us. That's why. Okay, so the maximum we are doing with the SAT is an interview, which sort of checks out the student's overall profile and potential for getting into that particular course he or she is looking at. But otherwise, all the other admissions for engineering are based on the JE mains, JE advanced score.
Fair enough. Sandeep, if you can take this, what is the difference between SAT and ACT, and which one is more appropriate? I'm sure you would have faced this question at a lot of places.
Yeah, a lot, and I'm happy Gagan has asked this question. Uh, so, Gagan, my view is not going to be biased because I work for College Board, but I'll tell you what the difference is and how students really decide which one to take. So, ACT and SAT, as you understand, both are standardized tests, right? Now, how do you decide which one to take? You have to look at both the tests first, right? The nature of both the tests are a little different, right? Because SAT has different number of questions. ACT has a section on, say, science, which SAT does not have. Now, second thing which you need to do is you need to look at the universities where you need to submit these scores, whether the university has certain preference of a standardized score or not. If the university says, okay, we will look at ACT, fine, you can take ACT, right? If the university says we are only looking at SAT, if the university is neutral, then you need to see which one you are scoring better in, right? So there are students who would score better on the SAT, and then there are students who would score better on the ACT. If the university is neutral towards both the tests, I would say take mock tests of both SAT and ACT. Look at the scores, which one you are more comfortable with. Again, look at the nature of both the tests, and then take the decision. That's how students internationally take the decision, right?
Great, great. Blocker Boy, transfer programs are offered by American colleges, definitely. Can a student transfer from an Indian university to American college? Answer is yes. But you know what happens is, I took this question, and during my campus tours and interaction with international admission officers, the response I got was that it's not certain to what extent. Like suppose you submit and you are saying 100 I have done, they might take only 70. Like maybe you have done 1 year 6 months, you have done 3 semesters, so there are certain credits, yeah. So they would look at it and say, okay, this is acceptable, and this one the detailing is not there, yeah. They will also ask your current university to send everything in detail, and then transfer would happen. So it's not an easy game, I would say, particularly if you're targeting the top-notch universities. It also depends on availability of seats, on various other things. So So it's not a very structured this thing that, yeah, if you do this, then you'll definitely get it. Yeah, sometimes there's no seat, so you might not get it. But okay, I mean, more often than not, there are seating available. So approach it with an open mind. Apply as a transfer student. While studying here, do a lot of research. Generally, the issue is, except for few good Indian universities, even a lot of traditional government universities also, research orientation is pretty less among students. So our top university in US, Canada, UK, all over, they would definitely look at like, do you understand research methodology? Have you done some research? Have you published it in a journal? In fact, I get it done from school students also. We guys do profile building, so we help them take up research projects. I had a student who took maths in movies. Yeah, to understand, you can just go online, Google maths in movies. You'll find Harvard mathematics department listing of 500 plus movies where mathematics has been used. Amazing. Yeah. So my student who was interested in maths and movies, he analyzed that and prepared a research project. Second thing, Vanshika, you're asking what would you count in extracurriculars? So maybe you have helped your school start off with a club. Like yesterday, I had another student from a small city, and he was really interested in space research. I have asked him to look at building up an aero modeling club in the school. I have also shared with him some resources on how he can structure it. Yeah. So if you do something amazing, you have helped your school in starting a club or a society. I mean, yeah, so that can be amazing. Third thing is community work. All the universities really appreciate community work, particularly if you have done something by yourself. Like you have made YouTube videos which help maids, peons, drivers in learning English. Yeah. I have a student who has used Python to design an eye blinking software. Yeah. So we'll have to understand what you're interested in, and then you can. Aparna is asking how many times SAT is offered in a year and when should one start working towards it? Sandeep.
Aparna, thanks for your question. So SAT is offered 5 times in the year in India, and when you should start working towards it, that's sort of a subjective question. Students would start 3 months before. Students would start 6 months before. They would even start a year before. So it really depends on the kind of universities you're targeting. It depends on the kind of SAT scores you're targeting. It also depends on where do you stand on these skills currently. So for all the students, I always say take a mock test, full length mock test first, and from there start assessing what are the areas you still need improvement on, what are the areas you're doing well in, how much time is it going to take you to improve on those areas, uh, what are the kind of scores you're targeting, and then see how many times you need to start taking the test. I've seen students who've prepared for 1 year, who've prepared for 2 years, and some students who've also done well just in 3 months, right? So I would say go to Khan Academy, SAT portal, start researching there, start learning more about the test, start looking at real SAT questions, take full mark test, and then decide what works for you.
So somebody is writing, you have 10 days. So I'll just be covering SAT preparation. Adi, if your basics are good, you can do it. Don't worry about it. But uh, generally, to answer you, though I am jumping, I would have covered in my 4 5 pages of presentation. But to answer this, do mock paper every day. Look at your weak points and try to build upon it. That's a major thing you can do in 10 days. You know, somehow long time back, I helped students prepare for CAT and even BBA exams and all. So I remember there would be times where people would just join at the last moment. So we would just work with them on mock papers. That's the best strategy going forward. Uh, then we have a question, any book where I can find. So College Board has good resources. Already Sandeep has shown it to you. So you can check on College Board. Still, if you want a book, uh, I think Sandeep, there's a College Board book also available. If he really wants a physical book, is it?
Yes, there are official guides available.
Okay.
College Board has a whole store, official book store, where students can buy these books online. So yeah, and of course you can buy these books also from bookstores like Amazon or Flipkart. There also you can find these official guides. College Board
Great.
SAT official guides listed.
Great. Lena is asking, I'm leaning towards A levels for grade 11th and 12th. Lena, that's pretty good. I mean, A levels are good. Will I be at a disadvantage? No, no, don't worry about it. In comparison to IB, no, 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 not at all. So, a lot of places it is board irrespective. Of course, see, some places you would be at a slight advantage, some others IB maybe, but not to that extent. Yeah, yours is a good international board. Focus on things like research, internships, any unique project you can ideate and build it up. Otherwise, get in touch with us. Sarthak, can you display our numbers also if any students want to get in touch? Guys, we guys help people with everything. I mean, we like understanding where to go in for in India and abroad. Yeah, we straddle this thing. We have a small team of people. We sit in Delhi, but we have students all across. Sarthak can give other people's numbers also. Yeah. I think Aparna's question is there. Sandeep, if you can kindly take it on.
I think Aparna mentioned this uh, already. So SAT does not have a science section. It's only evidence-based reading and writing, uh, and mathematics or problem-solving section. Uh, no prior subject knowledge of any discipline is needed whatsoever.
Great. So, Dr. Maduri, I think one or two more questions quickly before we take on other queries. Uh, I don't see Dr. Maduri. Is he? Sarthak, I think some connection issues. If once he is back, just let me know. Then we can take it up. So yeah, we give online counseling. Lena, you can just WhatsApp us on this number or the previous number. Uh, so we can fix up a session with you and then we can take it forward. Where can I take mock test? You can check on college boards. College board is the official SAT provider. So you can just go on college board's website and take the mock test.
Khan Academy is the right college board, and Khan Academy, as I mentioned, we've created a free portal. You can just go and take free mock tests on that portal.
Great. Great. Blocker boy, university with what acceptance rate should an average student aim for in the US? It's a very generic question, blocker boy, because I would need to know your marks, your profile, your everything. Yeah. But see, generally speaking, the topmost universities might have acceptance rates of maybe 4.5, 5%, 6%. The next level universities might have 7, 8%. Yeah. So, uh, I mean, look at yourself, finalize the course, look at, okay, these are my cluster one universities, cluster two, and then look at the pricing also. I have cases where at the end the child doesn't go because altogether they have never thought that this kind of figure would appear. Like initially they saw only tuitions and the books expense and some courses require more material and blah blah blah. So work out everything and then we can build up. Uh, which is the best place to practice mock papers for AP exams?
Uh, Lena, that's a good question. So for AP, we don't have a separate portal like Khan Academy yet. So, but again, on College Board's website, you will find a lot of real advanced placement questions for each subject listed from the past exams. So you can check those out definitely. So just you can explore College Board's website, the advanced placement section. Under that, you will see a lot of questions listed, which will be the official questions.
Great, great. So quickly, I'll just take you guys to this SAT structure also, and some pointed points I wanted to highlight. But first, starting point, I'm sure you would have listened, but for people who came in late, Sandeep also highlighted this. First, do a sample SAT. Before starting with anything, just do a sample SAT. Find out your mistakes or weak areas. Yeah. So once you have done that sample SAT, find out which areas are weak. And now let's look at reading. So reading, 5 passage sets, 52 multiple choice items, 65 minutes. Okay. So initially follow an approach where you are skimming. You are not reading actually, just skim, skim, skim. You are fast going through something. Like we look at it and we immediately grasp some content. So fast, skim it, and then questions, and then kind of revert back. Yeah. So it'll be MCQs. It can be from ninth grade to post secondary, that kind of content. US and world literature, history, social studies, yeah, US founding documents, and so on. So social sciences, you kind of keep on understanding that. uh, you have to be a well-rounded person. Yeah. So build up your knowledge. I'm surprised at times when I interact with a lot of young people, even what is happening nearby is not there in the mind. So that's a challenge. Yeah. So start with good reading. It's not only preparation for SAT, but generally build up yourself. That's what I would say. So just one moment, guys. Yeah, sorry. Quickly, so related passages. So these are called pair passages. Like two passages are there and 10 questions. Yeah. So this people find it slightly tough because people are attuned to passage like reading comprehension or passage there, and then MCQs are there. So we are attuned to that. And but in this case, there are two passages which are called related passages. Yeah. So and then your 10 questions are there. So then there are passages with informational graphics. Yeah. So again, it is a matter of practice. Don't sweat too much on it, and build up. Next, yeah, Isha, MIT also takes SAT. This year, a lot of universities had relaxed on SAT, but otherwise, US top universities do take SAT. Okay. So information and ideas where they're trying to check, have you gone through with detail like textual evidence. So only if you have gone through the matter in detail you can answer, and you are trying to understand the assumption by the writer. What kind of assumption has happened? Yeah. So rhetoric is you are looking at analyzing word choice, text structure, and so on. Okay. Do mock paper. This thing will be very clear to you. Next, please. Like word choices, I rhetoric somebody was asking. So basically, like best meaning of the word, they're trying to take the best meaning of the word. Synthesis, you might have charts and so on. Okay. So now SAT writing is primarily grammar and punctuation which is being tested. Yeah. So even where can better words be used? So understand standard English conventions, understand punctuations. It can be anything. It can be topics can be humanities, social sciences. It can be arguments, informative, explanatory text. So any kind of narratives might be there, which are happening. Sonia is asking, when is the SAT exam due now? Sandeep, when is the next SAT exam? I
Hi,
think.
Jitin, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next one is in March, but the deadlines have closed for that, and after that, we have one planned in May.
Okay. Great. Great.
Yeah.
Uh, so guys, next please. So basically, like SAT writing, sentence structures, conventions of usage, punctuation, which I already spoke about. Yeah. Next please. Oh yeah. So maths test. Yeah. So some people find maths to be difficult. So one is a no calculator and second is a calculator. This thing, 20 questions in 25 minutes for the no calculator thing, and 38 questions like on the other side. See, maths, if you are fine with maths, you can easily score 750 or 800. You know, so if you have been doing decently in maths. So of course, when you are using the calculator and then doing it, so it has to be done pretty fast. Okay. So Alina is asking, is the syllabus of PSAT, PSAT and SAT same? PSAT and SAT.
Let
Sandeep?
me take that one. Yeah, Jatin. So the syllabus is not the same. As I mentioned, PSAT is grade appropriated, which means what a grade 8, 9, or 10 student should know, that is covered in PSAT, right? So again, the coursework is not the same as SAT. SAT is at a higher level. Students need to know more concepts. They need to be able to solve higher questions which require learning certain higher level skills, while PSAT requires only skills and content which 8th, ninth, or 10th grader should know. And always remember, you should not be comparing PSAT with the SAT, because PSAT, again, like I mentioned, is a diagnostic tool for you to understand where do you stand currently on these skills. Because unless you understand where do you stand, you can't really improve. There's a saying, right? What can't be measured can't be managed, right? So it's the same logic with PSAT. You get detailed reports through PSAT. You're not reporting your scores to the universities, and through only SAT scores get reported. So don't get confused that you're also preparing as you would for the SAT. In fact, students don't prepare for PSAT; just take the test, and that report helps them to build on these skills from there. So again, very, very different usage. Make sure you understand the usage of both. Again, just a quick announcement, Jitin. I don't know if it was clear in my slides, but uh, uh, Mahindra Equal is one of the universities in India which accept SAT scores for admission. And Dr. Yaj was with us, who were not sure if he's been able to join us back. He took questions around what is required at Mahindra for admissions. But again, just also uh,
Great.
a quick announcement for everyone. Mahindra is also one of our universities that accept students through the SAT, and it offers fantastic programs in engineering, management, so on and so forth. So definitely check out their programs if you're
Yeah.
interested.
Yeah.
When is the
So,
next PSAT? Let me also take this along with this, Jitin. So next PSAT is in the month of October, Lena. And PSAT is conducted at the school. So we don't have PSAT test centers as we have for the SAT. So you will have to reach out to the school administration, school counselor, or the principal, and they can get in touch with College Board, or they can get in touch with me, and we can help the school to organize the PSAT at the school. Numbers don't matter. Even if we have, say, 5 students who wish to take PSAT in a particular school, we can still help the school to set up and start delivering PSAT at the school.
even I have some schools who are interested. So I'll be talking to you
We'll
about it.
talk
Yeah.
about that. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Okay, just to cover the maths thing was left in between. So heart of algebra we were discussing. So basically linear equations and inequalities and relationship between quantities to solve problem. That is what is being talked about. The next item was problem solving and data analysis. So ratios, proportional analysis, percentages, units. Yeah. So even basics of probabilities. Okay. So number of times, you could you could use options itself to solve. At times, you are stuck, you are not getting the formula. Just be calm and you can use options to get the right correct answer. Yeah. So don't worry if you have forgotten the formula. It happens to all of us at some point in time. And of course, trigonometry was also spoken about. Somebody was talking about it. So area and volume, lines, angles, triangles, circles. So all this stuff you have done. Yeah. So basic, I mean, basic sine, cos, tan values, basic trigo, basic Pythagoras theorem. So this is what will be utilized. Okay. So guys, it's very exciting. Lot of students I know have prepared in very less time and get good marks. Why? Because their base was good. Yeah. So I'm sure all of you are from good schools and you have been doing it. So I always tell people that any competitive exam is a test of life. How you have been till now. So parents who are listening to us or students who are very young and you're listening to us, It is how you are at reading, how you are at basic calculations. So all this step by step, how this is done, is managed by is managed by is sorry would translate into your scores, yeah, or your selection. Okay. So first of all, if you're very young, so start up with some basic. You can read online, yeah, you can read in shorts, you can get the news. I don't know if you guys are on Reddit, yeah. So use Reddit. It is like a newspaper for the world. So latest you should know about good reading habits help. I get people here, so I ask them to, when people join our study bird program, which we run for 3 4 years. I have children joining in ninth class also. We make them do read review. We make them, yeah, which of course in certain systems it does happen automatically, but like CBSE, some things don't happen. So research again is an important component. So kindly build up like that, and build up your basics, and then your SAT, yeah, then your SAT or ACT or whatever exams you're going to give. Blocker boy is asking, US universities consider GPA. How should Indian students go ahead with conversion of their current high school GPA? Anything on this, Sandeep?
Nothing particular to mention here, Jatin, but universities have their own internal systems, how they would convert that. You don't have to convert and give it to them. They have their own internal scales and measures, how they would convert that into, say, a GPA. But US universities, mostly because students from India apply every year in huge numbers, and they are aware of our Indian national curriculum exams and what do scores translate into that. You don't really have to worry so much about those conversions. You can go to Google and always find how do these conversion charts work, but how a university really converts it, you will not be able to find that scale exactly.
Still, blocker boy, if you have something, Satu can display our number. So just WhatsApp us. I'll connect you with the right person with us, and we can give you more information. Aparna has a question. Sandeep, you can take up.
Uh, s- that's an interesting question, Aparna. Super scoring, does Indian institutes take super scores from SAT? Um, So for this, I think you will have to individually find out from the university. Let me explain a little bit also for other students what super scoring is, so that everyone knows what this question means. So super scoring, essentially, how do international universities look at scores? They have their policies around that, right? So what happens in SAT is that even if you have taken SAT, say, from a previous attempt, if you have scored better on that, some universities will look at those scores, right? Say if you've taken SAT in March, and you've taken it in May, but instead of May your scores dropped, but in March your scores were higher. Some universities will still look at the higher scores. Now, what super scoring is, that universities would combine different section scores. So, say from your March attempt and May attempt, pick the higher scores from English reading section and math section, and come up with a combined higher score, right? So that is called a super scoring. Whether university does that, it entirely depends on the university, what kind of policy they are following. I don't think so. Indian universities do super scoring yet. Uh, but still, I would suggest, just to be very sure, Aparna, maybe get in touch with the admissions office at this university that you're applying at, how they really look at SAT. I don't want to give you one answer that fits all, because even internationally, every university has a different policy that they follow.
Great, great. Thanks a lot. I think we have answered all the questions. Avdesh, today's SAT discussion. So, buddy, we are not taking this. Yeah, Pari Sharma, SAT is important for humanities students also. I think if you have seen the earlier part of the presentation, we have shown you 42 universities in India accepting SAT, and most of the top universities there are liberal arts universities. So a lot of humanities people go there, as well as if you're going abroad, you're going to other countries, then also it will be important. So, guys, I'd like to thank Sandeep, who's from College Board, and he has guided students in detail about SAT and how to prepare, how to go about it. You can check out for people who came in late. So, College Board, along with Khan Academy, has complete resources to help you prepare for SAT also. And guys, second thing is we also had Dr. Maduri from Mahindra University. So Mahindra is a pretty well-known university, and they have been running engineering for quite some time now. Management and other programs are there. In case you want any information about SAT, you can kindly write to Sandeep on this sat@info.collegeboard.org. In case you want to contact us, Sarthak, you can just put our numbers once again. So you can connect with us on these numbers. Yeah. So you can WhatsApp your queries here or again connect with us. So I wish you all the best, people. It was great having all of you in the show. Uh, Thanks a lot, Sandeep, once again. Take care. Bye bye,
Thanks,
guys.
Chetan. Thanks for having me on the show, and thanks to all the students for listening us very patiently. All the best to each one of you. Stay safe, take care, and thanks for attending the session today. Thanks, Chetan.